take a quick time travel trip. Come with me. We're going to go back to 1960. In 1960, the Amazon rainforest was 90% bigger than it is now. Compared to where it is now, it's only 10% of what it used to be. What does that mean to you? It means the choice of wood. Brazilian rosewood was something that you used to be able to go into and take your pick of. These days, Brazilian rosewood, finding enough that is, Brazilian rosewood is a protected thing, so getting a couple of pieces of Brazilian is big news. You wouldn't get to choose between 30 or 40 pieces. But in 1960, if you came to me, and I worked in a wood, I was selling hardwoods, you would have huge choices, as Martin did. Back then, Martin used wood that was 20 to 30 years old that was air dried. They didn't use kiln drying like they do now. Now wood is aged a few months, 90 days in kilns. That lowers its moisture content and ages the wood. Back in the day, they didn't have giant kilns, nor did they have the amount of pressure to build guitars. Remember, in 1960, Martin was making about 1,000 guitars a year. Now they make about 80,000 guitars a year. They don't have time to be picky, and wood is disappearing. Hello. Hey, thank you. Yay. Thanks. You're in one now. Wave.
Hola.
Hola. Same with the tops. The spruce tops would be aged, whatever type of wood they were using, they would age the spruce too, 20 or 30 years before they would use it. Even then, they would reject much of the wood. So why would you buy a 1960 Martin D-28? This is actually a 1961 D-28. Well, for one, you can't replicate it for this kind of price. If you brought this guitar into me and you said, hey, I want to replicate Grandpa's guitar in every way, shape, and form. I want to have the ebony board, ebony bridge. I want to have the beveled pickguard. I want to have an aged top, but not aged like in a kiln. I want it aged like something that's been aged for 20 or 30 years. Can you find that? The answer for the first question, can you find aged wood that well? No, you just can't. It's not there. So we'll have to settle for kiln dried wood. How about the top and the back? Can you have a selection of Brazilian rosewood? Not really. Certainly not acres of it like Martin did back in 1960. But we can replicate this for you, and the cost to replicate a 1961 D-28 is about $25,000 to $35,000 now. This guitar is about the price of a college-level saxophone. I'll let that sink in for a minute. You play saxophone, maybe. How much did it cost you to be in the orchestra? That's $7,500 bucks. Well, good, you're saving money on this. It's $6,500. Just about volume, it's about complexity of tone. It's about history. It's about a time when guitars were made one at a time by hand. It's about not when guitars left at 120 guitars an hour. It's about when people spent all week making one guitar. That's what this guitar represents. Americana. Look at the yellowed binding. Look how beautiful that is in the sunlight. Look at the matched wood. Hear the tone. This is something that they're not making any more of these, and they're going to start getting scarcer and scarcer. We sold one of these guitars for 1,200 guitars just 25 years ago. Now they're $6,500 and rising and unable to be duplicated. So that, my friends, as we come back off the time machine, is all we have to say for now. Okay. More videos out in the sunlight soon, okay? Thank you.